Welcome to the Tea with Tamara Podcast. I'm Tamara Arnold, and it wasn't that long ago that I was a broke single mom drinking way too much, completely detached from everything. Now I've written multiple books, downloaded I Could Read Chakras, and I'm a channel for the universe. I'm a real person with real stories, and I can't wait to share them with you. So grab a warm bevy and let's have some enlightened conversation to live our best life. Happy magical Tuesday this week, everybody. I didn't make it into podcast land as I was under the wire for book writing, and I also ended up with a migraine, and the last few days have kind of slipped away into the Netherlands. And so due to that, I actually wanted to touch on something that's really important and something that most of us don't give ourselves permission to do. And that is to change and bend the rules as we need them to, truly and completely. So instead of thinking, oh my goodness, I didn't get my podcast done by Magical Monday drop, it was, of course, I'm still going to do the podcast. I'm just going to drop it on Tuesday. And you know what? That is going to be perfectly okay. And the other thing that I came to the decision of is an extension for 1 month on my book, because as I was getting stressed and overwhelmed and really was starting to feel as if the book itself, even though it's a first draft manuscript, was going to just be something I put on paper and not something that I felt through and connected with every word and every passage and every part, I simply sent an email to my editor and said, I need till January 1st of 2019. And the message back was, of course. So how many times do each of us get ourselves wound up or frustrated or in a tizzy about something that we feel we have to or need to do in order for it to be, following the rules, being within the set time we said it was going to, and really put ourselves into a space of discomfort or like the only vision that I'm really getting here is like coiled up really, really tight, because that's how I had gotten, like a spring, just like curled into this vicious tightness until I realized that nothing is 100% static, stuck in glue, and can't be worked through, bent, or shifted, right? Which brings me to a concept of time that I find really, really important, because time is in itself infinite, and it is our humanness that creates it in the way that we need to see a clock or the wake up and the bedtime, and everything has these structures, and, you started at this time and it must end at that time. And so what if we didn't put so much pressure on both our day and ourselves where time was concerned? Not saying that deadlines aren't important, and not saying that we don't get things done that need to be done. But in the light of taking a breath and not missing out on certain things in our life, or being present in a very particular way, that we gave ourselves permission to simply ask for an extension, or ask for a shift, or ask for somebody's help or advice on really allowing the time to expand for ourselves. Because me getting the book done 1 month later does not shift or change anything in anyone's life. It was myself who was putting that pressure on me. There was nobody else in this entire world that was doing it. And I find that very fascinating, because how many other things do we put ourselves under pressure for? As simple as, getting the house clean, making sure the laundry's done, doing all of the work, like making sure everything is dotted, the I's and T's are crossed, and it, it looks a certain way, and it has to be done a certain way, and we can't go over by a day, and all of these rules and regulations that really just leave us feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, stressed, in a state of discomfort. And when really, I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm just going to say, like, there's got to be somewhere in these rule books that there's flexibility. Because I think flexibility is a freaking amazing word. And it gives us the opportunity to realize that at any point we can pivot. And I'm even bringing this into from a business perspective. Not that it's a good thing to pivot, not that you get a following or a tribe of people who are totally locked into something that you're speaking about. But in the beginning, when we're just learning, and I'll use the example of last January when I started into this entrepreneurship, I started working with moms who have children with mental illness. That was what I knew. That was how I could reach my hand back and pull the next person standing behind me up to where I was and how I had solved this problem up until today. And yet here I am now, having just put out Facebook ads and, really narrowing down on what I serve. And I work, I help spiritually gifted entrepreneurs energetically align so that they can make a bigger impact and more money. And if you would have looked at me last year and said, Tamara, you're going to work with people who have spiritual gifts, I would have laughed at you. If you would have looked at me and said, you're going to be a business coach one day, I would have laughed at you. And even in January of last year, if you would have told me that I would be a chakra reader, I would have laughed at you. So how would my life look today if I kept to this firm belief that was the only thing that I could do? Right? I wouldn't have had the expansion. I wouldn't have had the growth. I wouldn't have had the capabilities to shift and maneuver and, expand into whatever the universe was bringing to me. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful expression. So I don't think today's podcast is late. I think it is exactly on the day that it needed to drop. And I don't think that my book is late. I believe that my book needed the month of December to fully breathe life into the words on the page. Just like over the course of the decision to step into coaching and starting with moms who had children with mental illness and moving into working with people who have spiritual gifts, I believe that just by being in motion, the universe meets us halfway and helps us direct our path. But we don't get any of that unless we're being open to the signs, open to be flexible, and open to shift when we feel that it is energetically in alignment to ourselves and that we don't have to follow a specific structure or formula or anything like I said specific a lot. Specific way. We have the opportunity to exist, to know that it's okay if we bend the rules a little bit in this life that we are living. And so I love you guys. It's just keeping it short and sweet today. Just permission to bend the rules. That's what today is all about. I'm super excited because I have just launched something new and I want you guys to be the first people to hear about it. And that is that I'm doing 15-minute energy checks in your energy systems to see what your blocks are in terms of self-sabotaging your business. If you are interested in knowing a 15-minute quick call for me to jump into your energy system, let you know the one obstacle that is standing in your way and jumping back out. The link will be in the show notes for that. I'm so excited. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but it was given to me in meditation today. So I want to offer that to all of you guys. And so hopefully I'll be touching energy with you soon. And you can follow me on social media, on Instagram, always at Tamara Arnold Author, because I think that Instagram stories are the most fun thing ever in the history of the land. It's like looking through people's drawers. I'm sorry, I used to be a bit of a snooper, and Instagram stories gives me the back way so that I can look through their life. And I'm just like, really, this was made for me. And I know that you shouldn't be a snooper when you're a kid, but I was just more fascinated in what people kept and like their whole behavior and who they were. Humans intrigue me to the nth degree. Always have. But I hope you found this super helpful. If you know somebody who just gets really upset when they miss a deadline, or they get upset if they don't get everything done in a day, please share this podcast with them so that they have permission to bend the rules a little bit as well. And I love you guys. Care Bear Stare from my heart to yours. Happy Tuesday.